Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and we have some breaking news that Geo Media is apparently putting The Onion up for sale. Now, Geo Media is the company that owns or owned Deadspin. They were the company that bought what was left of Gawker after Hulk Hogan had his way with it. And they're also the owner of Kotaku. Do you think it's a really smart idea, Kotaku editors, to bait fans, bait gamers right now and potentially get yourself sued when The Onion, which is one of the few publications they have that actually makes money, is actually on the chopping block? I'm just saying. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about Vice and the collapse of print media, digital media, media in general, and the pivot to social media. And yeah, apparently Kotaku editors are out there trying to stir the pot, trying to compile some hit lists, I guess, of people they don't like, doing some hit pieces. And they were told last week that they were going to have to pivot to creating game guides. And they didn't like that very much. And then apparently they got a reprieve. But the fact that they're selling The Onion, which is, again, one of the only sites that Geo Media has in its portfolio that actually does make money, is very, very telling. I think they're going to nope out. And I think they're going to nope out because of the ad rates collapsing. I think they're going to nope out because of the problems that their journalists bring to them. Again, Deadspin sued for millions of dollars because they defamed a child. They claimed that a Kansas City Chiefs fan, a 9-year-old kid who actually is of native descent, if I recall correctly, that kid is a racist, that he was wearing blackface at a game, which was not true. And they got themselves sued for that, and then they wound up selling off Deadspin. Kotaku is definitely next. I'm actually surprised Kotaku wasn't first, so let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. This is coming from the New York Post. It just dropped. Geo Media, the struggling company that sold Deadspin, is shopping popular humor site The Onion, and it continued its fire sale by dumping 2 other sites on Tuesday, the Post has learned. Jim Spanfeller, Geo Media's CEO, told stunned staffers at the entertainment site The AV Club and food-centric site The Takeout the publications were sold. Oh shit, The AV Club got sold too. Oh my God. Oh my God. Kotaku, you're next. You are next. The AV Club was scooped up by Paste Magazine, which recently bought the shuttered site Jezebel, and The Takeout has been bought by Static Media, Spanfeller said. They're selling everything. Spanfeller did not disclose the terms of the deal, but wrote that the offers included valuations that reflected a significant premium from the original purchase price on both sites. And they actually, Geo Media got those sites for a song. I think it was Univision that had them, and they couldn't find a buyer for them, and Geo Media bought like all these old Gawker sites for next to nothing. The Post reached out to Geo for comment. Most of AV's staff will move over to work for Paste, except for 2 employees, according to Spanfeller. He added that 2 of the Takeout's 3 staffers will go to Static Media, with a 3rd being kept by Geo. Geo is also said to be in talks with a few suitors for The Onion, but it could not immediately learn how far they were in the process. The satirical site, launched by a pair of juniors at the University of Wisconsin in '88, gained a cult following with such headlines as "Holy shit, man walks on fucking moon," and "Study reveals babies are stupid." Archaeological dig uncovers ancient race of skeleton people. The site changed hands over the years, becoming part of the former Gawker publisher Nick Denton's Gizmodo empire, before private equity firm Great Hill Partners bought Gizmodo for an undisclosed amount in 2019 and changed the name to Geo. Geo owns a handful of other sites, including Quartz, Kotaku, and The Root. I'm telling you, you're next, Kotaku. We're always considering both acquisition opportunities as well as reviewing all inbound interest in our portfolio. Everything is for sale. Everything has got to go. Everything has to go. They're selling everything. Over the past year, Spanfeller has been purging the digital media firm's assets, including the sale of Deadspin to Lineup Publishing earlier this year. Deadspin's entire staff was laid off. If whoever buys Kotaku, and somebody will buy Kotaku because the domain has value, you need to fire everybody that works there. They're no good. They're no good for you. They will get you in a lawsuit. They will cost you readers. because they do nothing but antagonize gamers. I'm just saying. In November, it shut down Jezebel, laying off the entire site staff, and then they turn around and they sold Jezebel to Paste. The company also sold Lifehacker to Ziff Davis last March and laid off its staff. There's a pattern here. We're not strapped for cash, Spamfeller said. But the CEO added that the use-by date for private equity companies tends to be around 6 to 10 years. So we're coming up on that. The media industry has been rocked by layoffs amid shrinking ad revenue, linked to declines in web traffic related to changes in search algorithms from Google and Facebook. I've talked about this at length. Google does not want to send traffic to your website. Facebook does not want to send traffic to your website. They want people to stay on Google search. Google wants to be able to give answers generated via AI. Facebook wants you in the Facebook ecosystem. They want you to publish on Facebook. X, formerly Twitter, wants you to publish on the platform. Yeah, this year alone, BuzzFeed, Vice, The Washington Post, The LA Times, NBC News, MSNBC, Sports Illustrated, and CBS News have all had job cuts. So let's talk about Vice. This article, this was actually what I thought it was going to lead with, but that is much bigger news. Kotaku, you are next. You're on limited time. This is coming from The Wrap. Shane Smith scrambles to save what's left of Vice, but the media empire he built and blew up. What's left of Vice, the media empire he built and blew it up. He blew it up. He said the problem was none of it was built to last. Vice convulses its way forward out of bankruptcy with Vice TV on life support. Vice.com, a shadow of its former self. They laid everybody off, I thought. Hundreds of journalists and other staff laid off and the future uncertain. The latest plot twist seems scripted. Shane Smith is trying to buy his baby back. So yeah, Shane Smith wants to buy Vice back. The entrepreneur who successfully wrestled hundreds of millions of dollars from sophisticated investors like Disney, TPG, and James Murdoch is back at Vice, pitching a show and advising leadership, according to a source close to the company. Spokesperson for Vice declined to confirm, but Shane Smith's contributions are integral to Vice. So yeah, basically these blogs got sold and people pumped a bunch of venture capital into them. And then it does look like they're going to be sold back in some cases to their original owners or to companies that are going to run a much leaner, meaner operation. Because I think blogs are sustainable if the overhead isn't that great. If you're not, paying $100,000 a month for office space, if you're not paying people $200,000 a year to write hit pieces, it's just that was never sustainable. But having a staff of like 5 or 6 people running a pretty decently trafficked website, doing some YouTube videos or some podcasts, if you can, you have yourself a little network. That is sustainable, and that might be what Vice winds up being. Is it just goes back to being like a blog run by some guy, and that might be enough. It might be enough for a couple people to make a living at it. But yeah, they're even like, man, he's trying to salvage Vice, and they're talking about how it was never meant to last. They said a lot of these investors said, "Oh my God, we're missing the boat. We got to get in on that boat." They paid way too much for whatever it was. They did it out of fear. It was pure financial FOMO. And it just never, they thought that it was just going to go up and up and up and up. And they said by 2017, sales were drying up in digital media. A lot of people felt that this was fading as there were rounds of layoffs. And that was back then. That was 5 years ago. Then we hit the pandemic, and then we hit the tech bubble bursting. And now I think it's a very convenient way to just get rid of people you don't need. And I think a lot of these websites are going to get sold dirt cheap. Journalism lost. This is, I think, the last section here. They said the final years of Vice's decline coming in parallel with the decline of the other digital media darling for a young generation, BuzzFeed, or a story of infighting between debt holders looking to get their money out and those who believe there was still a company worth saving. They said that there were massive legal fees. They said at this point, Vice is mainly just an advertising agency and a production studio functioning under the Pulse Films and Vice Studio labels. On the news side, once the heart of the company is gone, Vice is shifting to a studio model, producing and providing best-in-class content to distributors around the world. Vice has exited the costly day-to-day news business. Wow. The chasm between what could have been what what will go down as a modern media tragedy. The promise of Vice and the potential of Smith's vision for the brand was real. Yeah, but Vice started out with good intentions, as I understand it, and it actually was pretty decent back in the day. Vox wasn't that terrible either. And then they all pivoted to outrage. And they all got weirdly political around 2015, 2016. Kotaku's always been weirdly political, at least for the last 10 years. But even Kotaku, I think, started out as a proper video game site. Whatever good journalism gets done in the next 10 years will be done by someone laid off at Vice. That's kind of funny. Like what, Tim Pool? He used to work for Vice. So there you go, guys. They're giving a thumbs up to Tim Pool. It's over, man. It's over. All this stuff is over. It's just over. CNN, last month, news outlets are collapsing as advertisers flock. Look, we've done so many videos on this. I don't know what else to tell you. But the fact that Geo Media is having a fire sale right now tells me that Kotaku's on the chopping block. That's it. We're definitely positively in end stage Kotaku. I've been calling this for at least a year now. I was looking at their YouTube numbers. They're not good because normally this company would like pivot to let's do videos. Well, they're not taking off on YouTube. Nobody's actually watching their stuff. Then they're like, oh, let's do game guides. No, what they're doing, and we talked about this in another episode, is they're stalling for time. They're trying to just give the current staff busy work until they get sold off. You're done, Kotaku. You are done. They're going to sell your ass off. If they're selling the onion, they're absolutely positively going to sell you if they can find a buyer. If not, they might just shut it down. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.